Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Peter Veth podcast. I am excited for today's episode. Who am I kidding? I'm always excited. Today's episode is going to be more of storytelling. We're going to get into a little bit more of the creepy, haunted stories. And this is something that I experienced when I was a child in my old elementary school. And this was here in Lowell, Massachusetts. So if you are listening to this in the middle of the night, or if you're driving alone on the highway, turn it up so we can all get some chills down the spine. Cue the intro. Testing mic check. I talk to dead people, and I still have time to slay. Dead or alive, I keep it cute. And you're listening to the Peter Veth podcast. How do I start this? Okay, this happened in Lowell, Massachusetts. And I don't remember what grade I was in, but we're going to take it further back to like first grade. And this school is called the Malloy School. And for the longest, I have to admit, I've been trying to do some research to see what was this building before, or I think from what I've learned, that building had always been a school. But for some reason, I felt that it was always haunted, and there's some crazy shit that goes on down there, especially down in the basement. And down in the basement, that's where the gymnasium was, and the bathrooms for the boys and the girls. I don't know what it is. Maybe because the Cambodian kids are more receptive to energies that was happening down there. It was kind of weird. So if any of my fellow alumni from many moons ago at the Lowell Malloy School, elementary school, let me know if this is something you can attest to. Okay, so during the 90s, I was in the ESL classes. I was in the ESL class, which means that we were in two classes for the English language and writings, and also we were also learning Khmer, learning how to write and read Khmer, which was actually pretty neat if you think about it, because we've already learning Khmer at home, but to come to school to also learn our native tongue in writings and reading, it was great. It was great. Okay, so going back to me doing some research, I didn't find anything on the Malloy School to see if there was any like death or murders or any of that sort of that school. Nothing popped up. So the Khmer kids had always experienced something strange and odd within the school. And I remember during Mr. M class, I think that was his name, if I can remember. So the Khmer kids, he would never allow the kid to go to the bathroom alone. And for that reason, it was because every time when someone come back up from the bathroom, they would always cry. Our Khmer teacher knew something was up. The ethnic kids and the teachers, we don't fuck around with spirits and energies and all of that. So then the Khmer teacher at that time, at first, he would always send someone down with a partner. And then the kids would come back up crying and telling the teacher like, oh, there's something down there. So he ended up sending, if you need to go use the restroom, the bathroom downstairs, he would always like, okay, from here on out, it'll be whoever that needs to go to the bathroom, there's going to be two more to keep you guys company. So there'd be three of us. And I remember this one incident. This kid came back up shitting his pants, like I kid you not, and he was like crying, and the teacher would ask him like, dude, tell me what's wrong, what happened? And he wouldn't say anything. He was like, I just want to go home, and he would always look at us, the teacher, every time when an incident happened, he would look at the class and he would remind us like, make sure there's someone there with you, right? I remember that till this day, that the teacher ended up like escorting him out, trying to wipe him clean and things like that. And he was a Khmer teacher, so I'm pretty sure he felt close to us, like as if we were one of his kids. But mind you, he was also fucking scary. The Khmer teacher, back in the day, during the 90s, they don't fuck around. They would personally call my parents and be like, your kid's misbehaving, what should I do? And then my dad would be like, smack his ass. If you are Khmer and you grew up in the 90s, yo, it was bad, okay? It was bad. My Khmer teacher was really rough. I know I'm going off subject, but let me tell you something. That Khmer teacher was really rough. If you fucking joke around and you don't fucking listen to them, he'll throw a piece of chalk right at us on the desk. Or sometimes he'll take the stick and whack the board. Either whack the board or the fucking desk. And like, bam! Because we would fuck around all the time. And I know that nowadays, if you were to do that now, like, shit will hit the fan. But going back to the story. I remembered after lunch. After lunch, we will all go use the restroom before we step out into the recess, to have recess after lunch, right? And again, all the classrooms were all upstairs. The bathrooms, for some reason, for the boys and girls were downstairs by the gymnasium, and it was always dark and dungy. Looking back, it's like I remember the color being like dark brown. Like I'm talking about like mahogany colors, and the walls would be like dark gray. It was really eerie. And the gym was there too. It was a very small gym. And I remember that all the Khmer kids, every time when we would meet up in the gymnasium, the Khmer kids would always say, oh, someone died here in the gym. We would always say things like that. And kids, we're very receptive to these things. Not because we're also like ethnic people, like we believe in that shit. But the kids would always say like, someone died in this gymnasium. Maybe it was a fucking room. Maybe there were rumors, but we would always say that, right? So this one incident that I experienced was right after lunch. And I would always hang around with the girls at the time. It's because, you know, I was gay and fabulous. I wasn't out of the closet during that time yet, but I felt more connected to the Khmer girls. During that time too, lunch was never at a cafeteria. We had lunch in our classroom. There were a few of us that stayed behind to finish our food, and I don't remember how many girls that was there with me, but let's just say there was like 4 Khmer girls and just me walking downstairs to go recess. But before you go recess, the teacher always make it a thing where make sure to use the restroom first, so that way they don't want to like bring us inside to pee and shit. So then we all went downstairs, and I didn't want to use the boys' bathroom, and I didn't need to use the bathroom. I didn't need to go anyway. So then I stayed next to the girls, and I told them, you guys can go use the bathroom. And then they were like, okay, wait for us outside. All of them went inside. When they went inside into the bathroom, I was freaked out too. Like just staying in the hallway, like waiting for the girls, it freaked me out a little bit. Hello guys, I got some really cool events coming up in September, and I would like to inform you that on Friday, September 11th at 8 p.m. I will be having my online virtual reading event. So if you are across the world and across the states and you would like to attend and experience one of these evenings where we are getting connected with your loved ones and receiving messages from spirits, go ahead into my website, check out the events page at www.peterveth.com, and you can purchase tickets there. And another exciting event that's happening here in Lowell, Massachusetts, it's an in-person private event. If you are within the surrounding area of the East Coast and you would like to make a trip to Lowell, Massachusetts, on Friday, September 19th, it will be an evening of intimate messages from spirits. There will be light bites and wine served. Go ahead and purchase the tickets there. I hope to see all of you through the virtual and the private events, so go ahead and take advantage of that. And in the meantime, I will see you soon, and we are going to get right back into the episode. I can hear them like giggling and laughing in the bathroom because it was really echoey. And then they opened the door. They all looked at me like very strange. They're like, hey, do you want to see something? No, I don't want to go in there because I don't want to get in trouble. One of the girls was like, don't be scared. there's no one here, there's no teachers, but we really want to show you something that always happens here in the girls' bathroom. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? So then when I went in, they're like, we want you to see something. And I got in, and I remember this really well. The bathroom was sectioned into, it's really old school. The bathroom was sectioned into the stalls. The girls' bathroom was, there was a stall here, and then there was a stall here. Does that make sense? So it's like a walkway. Nowadays, it's just be a stall and then sink to wash your hands. Back then, it was stalls, and then the sink would be here. 2 sinks would be here, and you would wash your hands. I remember it till this day that it was like that. When I got in the bathroom, they like, oh, just wait here. And then they all started looking underneath the stall. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And then all of a sudden, for some reason, all the girls started giggling again, and they were jumping from one stall to another, pushing all the stalls and open. And then they look at me, they're like, come and play with us. I'm like, oh, okay, if this is what we're doing, then let's go. By all means, let's turn up in the girls' bathroom. And then they stopped me. They're like, wait, don't touch this door. And I'm like, why? They said, I kid you not, I remember it so well. They said in Khmer that this door, she always sits here. And we don't play on this one, we always skip. So I remember them jumping from like up and down, going underneath and stuff. But every time when it hits the stall, it's almost like a sense of respect. They go around that stall. So then they're like, wait here. They're like, wait a second. They look underneath the stall again. And I'm like, what the fuck are they looking at? And then they're like, look underneath. And when I look, there was 2 old school like winter boots. It was just there. And then I was like, where's her feet? Like, whose shoes is that? They're like, she's always here. And that's all they said. We end up like horsing around again, but we never touched that stall. So then we decided to wash our hands and things like that. We got out, went into recess. And then that's when the girls say, come here, follow us this way. So during recess, after that, they pulled me to the window by the school. This window is where the bathroom windows belong to the bathroom. So it's like, because remember the bathroom is in the basement, so it was height level where the window was, and then the Khmer girls would be like, come here, because they cracked the window open. Somehow I remember one of the girls like cracked the window open. They're like, if you get closer, you can hear her moaning. And I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? They're like, yeah, she screams and she moans when no one's there. But when you go in, you can't hear her. Dude, I remember this so well. And they're like, put your ears here. And it was her like laughing and moaning at the same time. And then I was so curious. I'm like, wait, who is in there? They're like, that girl that sits there. And I'm like, who? I'm like, how is this happening? And then we just all looked at each other. I'm like, okay, let's go back and play Hahaha and shit. Hahaha is the jump rope. I always played with the girls. So till this day, I'm still kind of curious and boggled by what was happening. If this was a real girl, or if this was some sort of spirits that only the kids can see because the teachers can't. Because I remember too that every time when we go into our English language class, we would always tell the teachers that it's haunted. I remember we're like, Mrs. Pugh, that's her name too. I remember telling her like, it's really haunted. There's a ghost in the bathroom, and she used to always eat her chips and stuff. She's like, there is no such thing as ghosts. So I wonder how she is now. But she would always look at us like, what the fuck is wrong with these Khmer kids? So now, like, reflecting back, I'm like, was this real, or was this something that I made up, or we made up? The bathroom in the boys, though, was more freakier than the girls. And the bathroom in the boys, it was so big. When we were kids, everything, when you were a child, everything was probably big and larger than life in general. Now that I, like, kind of reflect back a little bit, the boys' bathroom, so you know how like the men's urinal used to have, it's all individual and has like a thing, and then it cuts off right here. It's like up to your knee where you can like pee. Back then, the urinal was literally from like your neck, and it goes all the way down to the ground, and there were like a row of them. And again, if you can picture this dark space with like dark mahogany walls and dark grayish, it's really dim and eerie in there. So every time I pee, I remember I would always like force myself to tell myself to hurry up and pee. Oh my gosh, I'm like really getting goosebumps because I remember as a child, every time I pee, I would always like pray. I'm like, please don't let me see anything. Please don't let me see anything. And then when I poop, I remember I barely pooped in the stall. I only do it when during recess, when everyone was there and all the kids are yelling and screaming and stuff like that in the bathroom, and I would like try to push my shit out as fast as I can so I can leave and go into recess with them. The school is still there, but I'm wondering if there's any incident that happened there or if the kids are just making shit up. But if you are my classmate during that time, like let me know if you remember any of this, because I find it really fucking strange to think of it. Now it kind of remind me of Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter, where she fucking weeps all the time. Every time when I watch Harry Potter, I remember seeing that episode. It reminded me of Moaning Myrtle, but I never see her apparition, her body, or anything like that. I just remember seeing just a pair of winter boots, and then the Khmer girl just telling me that this one we don't touch, we let it be. The Khmer teacher, Mr. Im, I think that's his name at that time, knew something was up. Because a lot of Khmer folks, we believe in these things. And even if there was nothing or of that sort, to me, I find it kind of... Because energy is really powerful, you can feel something that happened there. And all the Khmer kids used to always say, there's something in this basement, in this place. It just feels strange. My dumbass try to like look it up and do my research and shit and see if anything happened there before. Nothing at all. Let me grab my phone. Let me do this. Death within the Malloy School in Lowell, Massachusetts. Malloy School, Lowell, Massachusetts deaths. While the search results don't show any recent deaths that have explicitly occurred within the Malloy School, now the Career Academy in Lowell, Massachusetts, there are news and articles, obituaries referring to individuals associated with the Malloy School who have passed away. While her obituary doesn't directly link to Malloy School, it mentions several relatives that last name Malloy, suggesting possible family connection to the school's namesake. Additional teachers from the research, like nothing. So again, even this, it just kind of leaves it at like there's no evidence or anything. In conclusion, while there isn't evidence of recent deaths directly occurring within the Malloy School building itself, the search results include information about individuals connected to the school who have passed away, as well as other deaths related to the Lowell public school system in general. That's something that I still kind of think about till this day. Like, did we make shit up? Or sometime, when you spread rumors or make things up, the energy can manifest itself to something. Was there an actual spirit that was there, or did the girls made it up? I don't know. Till this day, this is still mysterious. If you are interested in hearing more about spirits and creepy things and motivational speaks and psychic stories and things like that, this is the podcast where you need to tune in. My next episode is going to be hella interesting. I don't know why I'm saying hella, like I'm from the West Coast. My first guest for this episode, we are going to talk about ancestral possession. And I have witnessed this, and he had also experienced these possession. It's gonna be really cool. He is now opening up to talking about this, because it was something that happened to him and it's a personal story of his, and I cannot wait to share this episode with you guys. If you guys have an interest in supporting with my work within the podcast, please like and share. And I want to say thank you for tuning in. Till next episode, I'll talk to you later. Bye.